Yes, hello everybody, FUTV back in the studio. Welcome along to another Manchester United update show. Young players leaving, young players coming in. Possible transfers this January. I'll explain what I was told today while working inside of Sky Sports as well from the journalist there also. But the big news, the one we want to start with today is Bruno Fernandes. Bruno. Not many Man United fans would look at this as a positive. A lot of Manchester United fans would also look at this as a positive, if that makes sense. It is going to split an opinion. We're talking Bruno. We're talking Manchester United looking to hold on to Bruno Fernandes, and the future of the player is going to be discussed. And they want something in terms of an idea of what Bruno's thinking before the World Cup starts. Now get your comments into the live section. Everybody get talking to me. Let me know your thoughts. And of course, make sure that you do pop a like on the video if you're loving the content as always, and hit that subscribe button as well. I've been away. I'm back. I'll talk more about that later because you're here for one thing and one thing only. Before Liverpool get beat by Marseille tonight, you want to know about all the Manchester United news. Well, let me bring it to you now and let's get into everything that's going on in and around Manchester United. We have to start with that news that I got while I was on the train back from London before, and it comes from Rob Dawson from ESPN. And he writes, yes, he does write, that Manchester United are planning to enter talks with Bruno Fernandes about his future ahead of the World Cup, with club bosses poised to tell the midfielder they want to keep him at Old Trafford for at least one more year. I put two up then, sorry, one more year. United, according to sources, will ask for an indication before the World Cup from Fernandes and his representatives about where he sees his future. Okay, well, that's changed all of a sudden, hasn't it? So Bruno Fernandes' interview, which sparked up massive controversy back on the last international break in November. He was talking about, obviously, the club not wanting him, felt like he wanted to move away. The club were letting him go. Rúben Neves convinced him that he wanted to build a team around him, so he stayed for Rúben. Rúben's now gone. We've seen the worst of Bruno Fernandes this season on the pitch. Not too sure what was happening. Well, Darren Fletcher was in situ for them couple of games. Michael Carrick walks through the door, and everything looks rosy again amongst Manchester United players. So, one game in, great result against Manchester City, and everything seems to be going in a positive way at Old Trafford at the moment. We'll bring you up to date with all the injury updates ahead of, obviously, the game this weekend as well. Thursday, tomorrow. It's moving fast this week. Even though United are not playing, things are moving along quite quick this week. Bruno is going to be featuring this weekend. We know that. Will Bruno be United's captain next season? Who's going to be the manager? Will that new manager have a say in Bruno Fernandes staying or going at the football club? Manchester United looking, from my opinion here, like they want to get things wrapped up before the new man is appointed in the summer, which is interesting. Does this mean that's the hierarchy at Manchester United? Yes, that same hierarchy that said that they were happy for Bruno to leave if he wanted to go and the deal was there. Well, we know the deals were there. They were upwards of 100 million quid for Manchester United to take, and they were all too willing to let Bruno go in the summer. As Michael Carrick and the conversations that he has been having in the week that he's been in charge at this football club really had an impact that much. And these so-called meetings that we spoke about on Monday that United are holding this week, has this brought about this, what I can only describe as a massive U-turn for Manchester United's hierarchy over the contract situation of Bruno Fernandes and whether they want him to stay. Now, if they're going to go into Bruno Fernandes and ask him, what do you want to do? What is Bruno Fernandes going to tell them? Notice the way that this has been broken down in this article. I'll read it through one more time and then we'll go through what I mean here as well. Manchester United are planning to enter talks with Bruno Fernandes about his future ahead of the World Cup, with club bosses poised to tell the midfielder they want to keep him at Old Trafford for at least one more year. United, according to sources, will ask for an indication before the World Cup from Fernandes and his representatives about where he sees his future. Throwing it into Bruno Fernandes' court again there. That's the point that I wanted to make. They will ask for an indication on what Bruno sees his future, or what he sees his future like, whether it is at Manchester United or not. Make a bleeding decision. Stop asking the player. You're just going to play with his mind again. Make the point like, Ineos, do you want Bruno or not? Do you want to cash in or not? Make the decision. Tell him. Make the decision easier for him. Just say, look, we are open to selling you. What do you want to do? If you stay, then we'll go along with it. Just call it. Stop messing around. Like, you are the owners of this football club and you have the say. If you want to sell a player, you can sell a player. Bruno has come out in public and said he's flirted with the idea of leaving Manchester United over the last 2 transfer windows. So, we know that Bruno Fernandes has got this far and is thinking about leaving Manchester United. He has done for the last 2 years. Is there been anything that's changed within this football club to convince him that he should stay longer? Well, I'm going to be completely honest here. The only way Bruno Fernandes is still a Manchester United player next season is if we are in the Champions League. Another season of Bruno Fernandes trying to build a new project and a new team and be the leader of that team. I don't think he's there for that. I think Bruno Fernandes is looking at this Manchester United side, seeing if it progresses enough this season and thinks that he could maybe get something out of next season. Now, look, I don't think Man United are going to be challenging for the big trophies next season. If we do get Champions League and Bruno stays, I think it should all be around stabilising and staying in the top 4/5, whatever it is, with a coefficient next season. I just feel like that's the reality. And you're still not going to be winning big prizes. By that time, there goes Bruno's 1 more year. And it's 1 more year without one of the big gun prizes. He has already said that he was offered a chance to go and play for a big club where he was guaranteed pretty much to win big honours, and that was a team in Europe. So is that offer still going to be on the table for him this summer? Has Bruno made his mind up? Has he already said he's going to get 1 more year? Are Manchester United trying to use Bruno Fernandes here just to make it look like they're trying to keep one of the fan favourites right now by asking him what he wants to do? Let's not forget, Bruno Fernandes does have another year on his contract. So why would Manchester United want him to stay for another year? It's not like they're going to get any more money out of him. If anything, they're going to lose money if they want to keep him for 1 more year. So United are accepting it, if Rob Dawson is right, that Bruno's going to leave on a free after next season. Okay, right. That doesn't make sense when you're talking about Ineos and how they operate. They're not going to lose any money on Bruno Fernandes, I don't think. And I think they want him to tell them again that he is unsure and thinks he's going to move away. If they get any inkling, I feel, that Bruno wants out, then Bruno's gone. I think they will sell him and he'll be up for the highest bidder. That's how I see this going down with Bruno Fernandes. If he says he's staying, then I don't know if that means they're going to offer him a new deal. Because I don't think that they are going to allow Bruno Fernandes to leave for free. We're not in the position that Man City are in what they did with Kevin De Bruyne. We should be allowing Bruno Fernandes to leave on a free transfer. That's because United should have been doing well, but we've not been doing well. And we need Bruno Fernandes' money to rebuild our squad. So this is where I mean, like, we haven't got that. We cannot afford these players that have put a shift in like Bruno to just walk away from the football club like Kevin De Bruyne has, who's won everything. That's all right for them to do it, but not Manchester United. We cannot afford to do that. We need to recoup money for Bruno Fernandes. So how do we do that if he's going to stay 1 more year? Which makes me question where they're going with this one. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what comes of this, because Bruno's already come out and said he's not making any plans. He's not going to look at anything until after the World Cup. So United can hope for an indication before the World Cup. They can pray for all of that. I just think this is the club trying to make noises that convinces everybody that they're doing the right thing. And Bruno is being looked after. And we want to keep Bruno Fernandes. We only want to sell him if he wants to leave the football club. And that would be him making that decision then. And then that all comes down on him. And obviously, that's got nothing to do with the club because Bruno's asked to leave. You see where I'm going with it, don't you? You see where I'm going. Anyway, Bruno's replacement, if he goes, it won't be Rúben Neves because Rúben Neves doesn't play the same position. Ha 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 ha. I got you there. It's not like the Rúben Neves deal is dead. Just to keep you updated with that, this probably was going to be the story that we ran with earlier on. Rúben Neves wants to move to Manchester United and has given his blessing to move to Manchester United. He's okay with that move, and that's the story from earlier on today. There has been an update on the Rúben Neves situation this evening as well. But first of all, just to go back to the first story that we were talking about, which was that Rúben Neves has said that a move to Manchester United will be something he'd be keen on before the January transfer window closes, provided an agreement can be reached with Al Hilal. The midfielder is even willing to take a pay cut to make this happen. Yeah, you're going to have to take a pay cut. Never mind the wording, even take a pay cut, because you're not going to come to Man United and get the wages that you're on at Al Hilal. Let's be honest. That isn't going to happen. So that was the first story today, and that was earlier on this morning. Moving forward into this afternoon, and the Record in Portugal and Sports Witness have come out with a story on Rúben Neves, is that Man United are willing to spend money on Rúben Neves. Whether this is true or not, I don't know, of course, and it is just reporting at the moment as it is. But within the last 4 to 5 hours, this story came out from the Record in Portugal via Sports Witness. Manchester United would be willing to spend 17 million to sign Rúben Neves this month. Okay, so that's Man United's limit, is it? Look, I'll wait for more reliable sources to come out and obviously verify that and say that that is a definite. I'll wait for a Romano or an Ornstein to come and say that. But look, the Record Portugal were the ones that were pretty much nailing the Gyökeres situation last season, when it was a fight between United, obviously Arsenal, and all that was going on early on in the transfer window. So the same outlet again coming out saying, obviously with Rúben Neves being Portuguese, that United are willing to pay 17 million. I still don't think that that's real, and I stick to my guns on what I said this morning. I don't think United will spend money. I don't. I think they're going to bring a loan player in. And just regarding that, just to round off the midfield situation at the moment, the reports that we brought you from some outlets on Rúben Loftus-Cheek, and the likes of Wilfred Ndidi, them players, no, Romano has said that Manchester United are not talking to AC Milan. That report has been completely shut down now, and we are not going to be bringing in Loftus-Cheek. So whoever this mystery player is that Ben Jacobs was talking about seems to have been forgotten about, because we're coming up to a week now since that story came out, and there is nothing. There is not one player out there. No mystery player at all has come back into the conversation, and United are obviously not in discussions with anyone, it would seem. Maybe they touch base with somebody to find out potential workings of a deal, but it's not going to happen, I don't think, is my honest opinion. I will obviously keep an eye on everything that comes out, and I will make sure that we're covering every single angle here on these transfers, as I always do. But it is going to be difficult to see this happen, and I do believe that Manchester United will only get a loan deal. I don't know if Neves is potentially available on loan, a loan fee or something like that might actually clinch it for Al Hilal. I've got no idea what they're thinking. But Neves is willing to take a pay cut, according to sources, and of course, Manchester United will be willing to spend a certain amount of money. There are reports going around. You can believe them if you want, but I'm not wanting to convince anybody. You've all got your own opinions. I don't see it. I just don't think that that is a move that Manchester United are willing to make. I think that they would probably look closer to home. I mean, Graham Bailey came out earlier on today and said that Manuel Ugarte now is fully set on fighting for his place in the side from now until the end of the season. The Galatasaray situation and United turning down or shutting down a loan offer with a loan fee for Ugarte is a long distance away now, and we're looking at Manuel Ugarte fighting for his place, staying at Manchester United and not going anywhere this January. I think it makes more sense that Manuel Ugarte gets linked away from the club in the summer. Let's be honest. I mean, who is going to spend money on Manuel Ugarte in January? And that's what Manchester United have always said they wanted. They're not going to loan a player out that they need. We've only got 3 central midfielders in the club. So, yeah, Ugarte is going nowhere. And that's because there's no replacement lined up. There have been admirers of Wilfred Ndidi from within inside Manchester United, but I think they've been slapped in the face and said, shut up, sit down, we're not going for Wilfred Ndidi, which I would applaud, because I think that's the right move to make for United. We're already talking embarrassments this season. We don't need to be bringing in Leicester rejects and a player that Besiktas are willing to loan back. Well, let that sink in. He's at Besiktas and he's being loaned to United. No, not for me. Sorry, not anyway. Not in my opinion. Let's get into the comment section. Everybody, welcome along. Get your thoughts in there. Let me know what you're thinking, please, everyone. I'm going to get into a couple of super chats just to kickstart the conversation this evening. Ben in there with the first one says, Adam, Red at VTech, wow, what a save. Ben Bain Day off. I've always been blowing Red at VTech's trumpets. I have. That sounded all wrong that then, didn't it? Yeah, but you get the phrase and you know the phrase, so don't try and spin that one on me. But I seen the save. Wow. It was at Ipswich at Portman Road, and it was an absolute... Whoa, yeah. Just watch it if you can. If you go on social media and search VTech save Ipswich, then you will see it. We are set for goalkeeper over the next 10 years or even more with the two young goalkeepers we've got at the moment. Be interesting to see what happens with VTech, because I think he is going to be a hot property in the summer. And can United afford to hold on to him as a number 2 to Lamans? I'm telling you right now, there will be bids, I reckon, upwards of 15 to 20 million for Radat Vitek. I think Manchester United need to be careful with this one. I think we could have a great goalkeeper on our hands here. And are we going to allow it to go cheap? Is 20 million for a homegrown talent in this new new financial fair play cycle that's coming up in the summer going to really help United? I would maybe, because you think if you keep him as a number 2, his value then sort of drifts off on it a little bit. If he keeps playing, then he's going to be worth something. He's going to be worth a lot of money come that summer transfer window. I don't think I'm going to be far away in saying that Radat Vitek would be subject to a bid in the region of 20 million this summer. I don't think we're far away from that. Paul says, Adam, a great show on Sky, consoling the Palace kid. Yeah, he got absolutely battered today. Poor Palace. Jean-Philippe Mateta. I was actually asked the question on Sky, do I think that United should go for Mateta? Of course we should go for Mateta. He's a great striker and he gives us that extra little bit, but I just don't think Manchester United will. Again, I don't think they want to spend money. They have this big old plan. I cannot wait for the January transfer window to end so we can start talking about proper targets. Because at Crystal Palace at the moment is a mass exodus. And that is going to be, I think that's going to be attacked on all fronts by all sorts of different Premier League clubs. I think Manchester United will be all over Adam Wharton in this situation. I can't see him wanting to stay. Mateta's jumping ship and told Crystal Palace today that he wants to leave this month. I'm guessing Juventus might be the best option for him there. Will he get in ahead of Ollie Watkins? Don't think so. If he wants to go play in Europe, Juventus is the place to go. So maybe that will happen. And we know Juventus have been looking for strikers. So let's see how that one develops. But I think United are going to come up short. I don't think United are going to go for these age of players. I said the same thing about Rúben Neves just a minute ago. I think it will be the same for Mateta. I think he was a target for Rúben. I don't think he's a target for Carrick. And if that's the case, then Ineos will wash their hands of it because they don't have to spend any money. Madness. Brian with another super chat says, Bruno has dominated the dressing room as captain of the club during the worst period in our club's history. No more false starts. He needs to go, says Brian. Do you agree with Brian in the chat, people? Give me your thoughts. Let's get into some of your comments in here. No to Ndidi and Loftus-Cheek. It's like the ownership is pushing us to accept nothing in the window, and in all honesty, they've succeeded. Rather not buy either, but I'd take Mendes all day long. Mendes? Which one's Mendes, mate? Oh, you mean Neves? Yep. Anyone, like we have covered this before. Graham's also said it there again. Vitek signed his new contract till 2028 before he signed for Bristol City. United knew exactly what they were doing. United have played a very, very good card with Vitek. He is going to be a hot topic in the summer. Trust me on that one. So he hasn't been the captain in the worst 2 Premier League seasons ever. Just like Odegaard, this guy is no captain material. He's not a natural leader, and I personally wouldn't take any orders from this dweeb. Is that Bruno McForty? There's no name in there. Sorry, I don't know if you're talking to somebody else. I've just picked out that comment randomly in there. Spirit of Dakota says, as long as we have a buyback on every academy graduate, that's fine. I think United have been very clever with there'd be sell-ons and buybacks, I think, in most of our young players going through the academy now. So, yes. We will see how Bruno performs for the rest of the season in the 10th position before we make a decision on him. If Bruno plays a stormer from now until the end of the season, even all of your, like, you big Bruno, don't like saying haters, non-likers, let's just call you that, Bruno non-likers, would you be convinced to let Bruno stay for one more year? Would you let him? You let him. It's not up to us, obviously. It's up to the club. But obviously, would you be happy with Bruno Fernandes staying one more year? This, I think, look, I ain't got no problem with Bruno Fernandes staying as long as he sticks in that number 10 role and we get the Bruno performances that we've seen in parts this season, like the Manchester City one. Again, it's one of them performances you can say, I want to see Mainu play like that every week. I want to see Bruno, Ahmad and Boot. Look, you can all pick out one game and say, that's why I want to keep him. But the reality is he's going to have ups and downs. Can we get a 7 out of 10 out of Bruno when he's not playing well or it's not working? Can we get a steady 6 or 7 out of him? I think that's what you've got to look at. Sometimes you don't get your 8s and your 9s. You've got to get a good 6.5 and do some solid stuff and dig in there. I think that's what people would like to see from Bruno. It's how I'm gauging the chat anyway. Everyone's happy for Bruno to stay if he does put up the numbers and performs well. It's the same with any player. It just so happens that Bruno Fernandes is the topic today, and that's what we're talking about. Bruno does divide opinion, which makes this conversation even bigger. Adam, the only want is that Bruno to stay because it's pull. They only want Bruno to stay because it's pull. He can't attract other good players. They are clueless, without vision, so are playing the long game. No extension decisions made. Player power FC. Kind of get where you're going with that there, mate. I do. I understand the angle you're going at, but they have attracted other good players. We got Cunha and Mbeumo when they could have gone to any one of our rivals above us in the league right now. We know that for certain. So we got both of them. So I don't think it's the case. Look, again, it's all going to come down to this summer to convince a lot of fans with Ineos in terms of what players come in. If we get Champions League football and we go out and get Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, what are we all going to say? What are we all going to say? It's job done, isn't it, really? When you're going out and you're getting the best that every top Premier League team wants, the ones that are competing for the title, and you're getting them players in, then that's what we want to see. So where there is a lot of discontent with the ownership right now and everything that's going on, I do think that if there is a big summer and United are actually in the Champions League, then a lot of fans will be stuck as to where to go next in terms of the critique of the ownership. I think there's some people that actually don't believe that United are going to go out and have this summer at all. And they don't believe that United are going to go and get these players. So, again, it's painful that we have to wait 4 months, but let's just see what does happen in that window. But, again, I keep saying but. There's so many buts in this with United because there's always another part to it, and that's January. And not spending money, is it enough for the squad we've got to get Champions League football? Because if we get Champions League football, we can get Elliot Anderson. We can get Adam Wharton. We can have a formidable midfield with that strike force and then forwards that we've got. Then you can go and buy a new centre-back. This is where I would have loved the fact that Mark Guehi, if he'd have just waited it out, United would have been in the reckoning for Guehi in the summer. I really do. I think United could have put forward a great case to take Mark Guehi if we'd have got Champions League football. But he's gone. And Palace have taken the money quickly. It's going to be interesting, I think, what happens with Palace this summer, because I think they're going to be the new Brentford. Can they get a Brentford and survive? No manager, no captain, no leading goal scorer, no backup goal scorer. All them players gone, but still doing well. Can Palace do that? That is what's going to happen. It's going to be a mass exodus at Crystal Palace. Anyway, moving on to other stories and everything else that is in the news as well. You may have seen this before. Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic has confirmed this. Chelsea are close to finalising a deal to sign Yisa Aloa. However, Manchester United are still in talks, with further negotiations ahead after having a bid rejected in December. A final figure, including a major add-ons, could significantly significantly past 1 million. So this has been the debate for the young Sheffield Wednesday player we've been talking about. Yesterday's update was that Manchester United had lost out. Chelsea have come in, but United had only bid 400,000. Chelsea went in on 750 and then put add-ons on top. United now could have an initial fee of £1 million. They are going strong and all in on the academy players and trying to build from within. You can see this with this move here. United are actually spending 7 figures on a kid that hasn't played. This is another Chido situation here right now. Of a young lad, 16, 17-year-old in the Championship, who is wanted by Liverpool, Man United and Chelsea. I think Arsenal have also been linked, but he is definitely heading to the Premier League or someone's academy within the Premier League this summer. And United might have just made a move on this. They didn't want to give up. There has to be something in this kid. I haven't seen enough of him to say that he is the next coming or anything like that. But for United to go seven figure on this guy tells you that they do highly rate him. So this is going to be an interesting one to watch again, and developments around this we'll keep on top of. And I do believe that we are going to get significant updates coming in. Talking of Manchester United's academy as well, a couple of updates. Not so much an academy update, but Toby Collier's loan move from Manchester United to Hull is now likely to be confirmed next week after being delayed his medical to fully recover from his calf injury. That's come from Simon Jones of the Daily Mail. That was reported last week, but wasn't fully confirmed. And some people were actually saying that this news was far from the truth. I think it was far from the truth that the deal was done. But there is definitely links, and United's plan was always to take Toby Collier back and then send him back out on loan again. And it looks like Hull is the destination for Collier. This just shouts out to me that Toby Collier is also going to be sold in the summer. United are hoping that Collier goes and does something good in the Championship, I think. And then he adds a bit of value. There's no way that Collier survives at Manchester United now. He's 22, and I think his time has come. He is going to be leaving Manchester United, and that is that, I'm afraid. His old teammate, Harry Amass, obviously, at United, both featured last season for Man United's first team. Harry Amass is close to completing a loan move now to Norwich City. So he's leaving Sheffield Wednesday and now heading to Norwich, it would seem. That's the story that's going around as well this evening around Harry Amass. So that's going to be an interesting one. And obviously we will keep a track on that as well in terms of where he ends up. It's keeping with the academy and everything that's going on as well. There are many inside Old Trafford believe JJ Gabriel is the generational talent who could become a real Manchester United global superstar. United are keen to give him a taste of the big time, but as Sir Alex Ferguson did with Ryan Giggs in the early days of his career, United are being cautious with Gabriel, even though the clamour for him to be unleashed is growing by the day. That just to keep you updated on JJ Gabriel and everything that's happening there as well. We have had more updates coming in. 17-year-olds, reading through everything because there's a lot of news that has come through. Simon Stone backed up the Harry Amass situation as well, so that is definitely looking likely. And let me just check now. On The Athletic, I've just put this out in the last minute. Manchester United youngsters Harry Amass and Toby Collier are set to go out on loan, with Harry Amass joining Norwich City and Toby Collier heading to Hull City for the rest of the season. Laurie Whitwell, The Athletic. So them reports are nailed on, 100% true. Both academy graduates are heading out to the Championship for the rest of the season. So that is that confirmed for Manchester United. Anyway, let's get some more comments in as well. Interesting how a lot of the journalists have also talked about Michael Carrick being at Lee Sports Village. Good to see Michael Carrick at Lee yesterday. Already more academy visits in a week than Rúben Amorim in his whole time at Manchester United. That was Simon Stone reporting there. Rúben really didn't go and make the effort and watch Manchester United's academy players play. Carrick's already there alongside Jason Wilcox, like we said earlier on today. So that's interesting. Again, Carrick, Biniam, the link. I think Manchester United under Carrick, we may see a few more academy players. I mentioned this morning the hat-trick from James Scanlon last night as well. That would be an interesting one to look at if United are looking for a winger going forward. So yes, something else to keep our eyes on. Anyway, let's get into more of your comments, please, everybody. Let me know what you're thinking. Boxing says, Carrick won't have Mateta. He likes pace up front. Hannah says, no way these owners will get the likes of Anderson and Wharton, who will commit their future to the club with no manager, and so many chiefs in charge with multiple directions. Look, it's Manchester United. United, like we said this morning, and this is how we backed this story up, was that United are going to have a short list of managers already set and ready to go by April, May time. United will want to know who their next manager is before the end of the season. I think that's the plan, and I think that's what they're going to go with. So let's just see how that develops as well. Give it chance. But no, players will still come to Manchester United. They will. If we're in the Champions League, they will come to United. There's an argument there if we're not. That would have to be a big sell. And when you've got that turmoil, like Hannah says there, that is definitely something that's going to be looked at by players and their reps. And they're going to go, ooh, actually, is it right? Should we? Can we do that? Is there better options? There most definitely is. And that conversation will start to escalate as well. Spirit of Lakota says, I think there will be an academy graduate fire sale in the summer. Hugo, Wheatley, Amas and Collier, a 5 million tag on each would keep the kitty topped up. I do believe that we are going to see the back end of quite a few academy players this summer. I totally agree with that comment there. I think that is what will happen. Let's see what else we've got in the chat here. Conwyn and Boomo both said they wanted to play with Bruno, plus those two are United fans. What other pull do we have? Champions League. That's why it's so important right now. Look, I'm with you all. It's going to be a tough fall summer for United. And this is why I've said we need Champions League football. I get it. With Champions League, United are seen to be going places. I'm sorry, it is. And players will come to United if we've got Champions League. That is a big, big pull. It's a massive pull, actually. Thank you already for all the likes, everyone, by the way. They're piling in. Keep them coming in. That should get us over 200 live likes. I know there's football on tonight, and it's always a bit of a mixed match with everything that's happening, but still want to get through the rest of the news and keep you fully updated. So it's good to be back. I was speaking to people at Sky today, trying to find out exactly what was going on with Manchester United for a few of the reporters, and it's all pretty much the same, sadly. It's that there isn't going to be much business done this January for Man United. It is waiting for the summer transfer window. It's a big, big risk because Graham Bailey, like we said, and Mulligati now fighting for his place at Man United. Carrick's got the vibe up. I'll give him that. He's definitely got things moving along. So, can he get more out of Manuel Ugarte? I'm not hopeful because I don't think Manuel Ugarte is going to start many games under Michael Carrick. Look, we've got a double game week coming up pretty soon. So we might see Manuel Ugarte feature. Speaking of game weeks, by the way, have you seen Manchester United's schedule again? Are they trying to kill every chance of Manchester United fans watching a game of football? Sunday the 1st of March, 2 o'clock kickoff, Crystal Palace. Again, grab kickoff time. Wednesday the 4th of March. This is where we start getting doubles up as well. 8:15 kickoff for Man United. Another late one. Saturday the 14th is set as a 3 o'clock kickoff with Aston Villa. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to happen. Why? Because Villa are in Europe the previous week. So that's not going to be a Saturday kickoff for Man United. Let's see what happens with that. Because the following week, Manchester United, yes, you guessed it, all the way down south on a Friday night at Bournemouth, 8 o'clock kickoff. Absolute farce. How many 8 o'clock kickoffs can we have in one season? It must be a new record. It must be. But Bournemouth on a Friday night? Are you kidding me right now? Man United fans will actually be staying down there for the weekend. That's what they'll be doing. Let's look at it. What's the weather going to be like on the 20th of March in Bournemouth? It's still not at that sunny stage of the season. You kind of hope that you get Bournemouth and the Brightons of this world when it's like August or May or something like that, and you've got a bit of nice weather. You can go down and enjoy the seaside. Have a bit of a weekend. But Friday night in March, Bournemouth, whoa, give anything worse, to be honest. That will be an absolute trek and a half to get down to Bournemouth on a Friday night. Can you imagine that in rush hour traffic? Oh, my days. Thank you, Premier League. Seriously. Wow. The thinking behind it, it didn't need to be a Friday. It could have easily been a Saturday kickoff, giving Man United fans the chance to get down south and actually get there at a reasonable time, not having to get up at God knows what time. They actually think that that's okay. Think about the people that have got to get home to Manchester on a Friday night when the game's finished after 10 o'clock. People are not going to be getting home until early hours of the bleeding morning. When you could have just put it on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, that game doesn't need to be televised. I tell you, wow. Still, new levels, honestly. Anyway, moving forward, did you see that news about Manchester United and this new series, by the way? I need to dig it back up again. I have got that Rashford update coming up as well. So Manchester United have struck a deal with studio giants Lionsgate to develop the Crown style TV series based on the club's history. The project is still in development and would earn United a multi-million-pound fee plus royalties. That is reportedly multi-millions being double-figured millions as well for Manchester United. Very clever. And I think there's only Manchester United you could market in this way. Perhaps some of the, maybe Liverpool just, but United's history does sell, doesn't it? So again, making money one way or another, Manchester United, we always find a way, don't we? We always find a way. And this is another one where Man United have actually somehow managed to get a deal with Lionsgate to produce a series. And there is scope for another series on top as well. It could be more than one series on United's history. Yeah. Only United, honestly. It's crazy, isn't it? It really is. Anyway. The Marcus Rashford story went up and down today. Did you see this one? Just to finish all of the news and round everything up. There is a strong desire for Marcus Rashford to remain at the Camp Nou, but Barcelona's financial situation could still block the deal. Now, there have been some reports today saying, and this is it here actually, Manchester United are keen on bringing Marcus Rashford back after being impressed by his recent form and have already opened discussions. There's nothing to open discussion-wise. I think it's an absolute BS story, this one. And a few people have ran with it on X today. There's no way that Marcus Rashford is coming back to Man United. Not a chance. Open discussions. He's our player. We can call him back from loan if we want anyway, because Barcelona don't want to pay the fee. So there's no discussions to have. If Barcelona don't want to hit that trigger of a buyout clause from his loan deal, then he goes back to United and we sell him to someone else. Or we renegotiate something with Barcelona, whatever it may be. But there's no discussions to have, which is why I think that this is an absolute crap story. But we do know that Hansi Flick is well impressed with Marcus Rashford. But in his comments, Hansi Flick has also said that there is a long way to go this season and let's just see what happens. Hopefully Marcus Rashford keeps his form up. But they are not going to jump the gun and say they're keeping Marcus Rashford now. They're going to wait to see if Marcus Rashford keeps up this form from now until the end of the season, which with Marcus, to be honest, I think that is probably the best plan that you could come up with. I do believe that that is the right way to go about it with Rashford. Let's just see if you can stick it out to the end of the season. Carrick is a one game top class manager. Needed Carrick, got sacked at Borough. Needed Carrick, yeah, he did get sacked at Borough, but that happens with a lot of managers. They do get sacked from jobs. But it's what's happening now. Judge him on what he's done so far. And as an interim Man United manager, he's got a great record. Someone made the point the other day, I think did it today. In his 4 games in charge, he's faced Unai Emery, Mikel Arteta, Thomas Tuchel, and Pep Guardiola, and taken 3 wins and a draw from them 4 games. So he's got a good record against the big managers, is what they're trying to report here, Michael Carrick. Look, there's a long way to go, and he's got a proper stint now for Manchester United ahead of him, so let's just see. Rashford lost it when he was exposed to Guinness, like so many others, says London. Trading on the club's history and ups and downs is okay as long as the money goes back into the club. Well, that would be a point. I don't think Rashford would want it anyway. Bridges burned on both sides. Very true, boxing. I agree with that one. Also, let's see what else we've got in here. Oh, people talking, having their own discussions in the chat. This is why the club will never be successful, only backwards. Why is that, Chris? Which bit, matey? I've just mentioned a few things there. I'm just trying to find out which bit you're going on about there, pal. That's all. Pete says, I can see Rashford coming back, unfortunately, to stay because we're not getting mugged off. Well, yeah, you've got that point. United, I don't think. I mean, if anything, though, Man United with Marcus Rashford are going to look to sell him to somebody else. Somebody else might come in for Rashford if Barcelona don't take him. I mean, if he keeps his form up and he keeps performing to the levels that he is now, then Rashford's going to attract an awful lot of attention from the rest of Europe as well. So Rashford is still going to be there for the taking with other clubs also. PSG are reportedly very, very interested in Marcus Rashford. They will be all too willing to meet Manchester United's buyout clause of €30 million. I think anyone with a normal business structure at the football club would go and spend €30 million on Marcus Rashford. I think it's a no-brainer. It's cheap and he is performing at the highest level at the moment. So, yeah, I think there's a few that would go in for him. And I do think that PSG would be right up there as well. I think Barca will come to the table with something more to Man United's liking, is my opinion. I don't want him back. I think Boxing said it, didn't say there in the chat, when he said the bridges have been burned. I agree with that. I think they have been. And I do think that Marcus Rashford's time at Manchester United ended as soon as he went on loan to Aston Villa. I think the writing was on the wall there. And then he got lucky to get Barcelona this summer. Really lucky to get that deal done. So he's got to count his blessings that he's had a second chance. And fortunately for Marcus, he's taken it. So good on him for that. But we never forget. And I don't think there's anyone at Man United that will want Marcus Rashford back. Some of the fans might, but so I don't think so. And just to bring you the top story again, everybody, we're talking there, Rob Dawson from ESPN, that Manchester United basically are begging Bruno Fernandes to stay another year. They want him there another year now. So there's been a big switcheroo, a big change around with Bruno Fernandes. The man that has flirted with leaving United over the last 2 summers has said he stayed because of the manager. That manager's now been sacked and now being asked by the football club to give them an indication before the World Cup, in which Bruno Fernandes says he's not going to discuss anything until after. They want an indication before now what he wants to do with his future. So United are planning ahead here. They're happy to keep Bruno, it would seem right now. Or is it a big ploy? Are they looking to just look like the good guys here, Manchester United, and offering Bruno Fernandes this invisible olive branch where he reaches out? Any sign of ifs, buts, or maybes out of Bruno, and I think United cash in. That's what I think anyway. But they have taken the high road, it would seem, and they have leaked that out, and that is the report right now. And that will probably be Manchester United pushing them reports out on this one. So, again, I do think that that is the case in this. Thank you for over 200 live likes. That is mega. Keep them likes coming in. If you are catching up later on, please do get into the conversation. Get in the comment box while you're watching all the Champions League football and let me know. Manchester United keeping Bruno Fernandes. Would you bring back Marcus Rashford, by the way? Rúben Neves at 17 million. That was another story we did. Toby Collier and Harry Amass both leaving Manchester United for Championship clubs this month until the end of the season also. Manchester United making big moves in the academy side of things on the ins and the outs. Let me know what you think, everybody. Get yourselves comfortable. Go and watch the football. Last night was hilarious. City lost, of course. Is it Liverpool's turn tonight? Is Mason Greenwood going to come back and haunt Liverpool in the Champions League for Marseille tonight? That's the next question. That's the next episode. We'll all sit back and enjoy the football now. And I'll be back tomorrow morning here in the studio. Normal service resumes tomorrow, everybody. Back on the normal schedule after everything that's happened this week with me being down in London. We're back on it. Enjoy your evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I will see you all in the morning. Have a good one. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you hit